My name is Esmeralda J. Davis, and I am 33 years old. 3 months ago, at a family reunion in Michigan, my older sister Vanessa rolled her eyes in front of everyone and called my 1-year-old daughter mentally retarded. My daughter shrank into her chair like she wished the floor would open and take her somewhere safer. Then my grandmother calmly set down her iced tea and asked, "Behind, compared to whom?" Vanessa smirked, thinking she still owned the room. Grandma continued, "Because Emma is 2 years ahead in school, and she is the only one I've put in my will." The smirk vanished so fast it almost felt like justice had made a sound. You know what is funny in the worst possible way? I used to think the most unforgivable thing Vanessa ever did was steal my prom date in high school. I was thinking way too small. Vanessa and I were never the kind of sisters who shared clothes and whispered secrets under blankets. She was 3 years older, and from the time we were children, everything became a contest with her. Who got better grades? Who looked prettier in family photos? Who dated better? Who married better? Who had the smarter child? I stopped playing a long time ago, especially after I got pregnant with Emma at 22, and Vanessa made sure everyone knew she thought I had ruined my life. But Emma did not ruin my life. Emma became the best part of it. She is brilliant, not in the loud show-off way, but in that quiet, strange, beautiful way that makes adults uncomfortable because they do not know what box to put her in. She reads college-level biology textbooks for fun. She writes poetry about clouds and cries at sad commercials. She was skipped 2 grades, but she still sleeps with a stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm. She can explain cellular respiration, then panic because someone at school looked at her funny. That is Emma. Sharp mind, soft heart. So when my aunt announced a massive family reunion in Michigan, I almost said no. I knew Vanessa would be there with her perfect husband Mark, her 2 kids, Tyler and Madison, and that polished smile she wore whenever she wanted the family to remember she had done things right. I was tired. Emma was tired. But then Grandma Dorothy called me personally. "Come," she said. "I want to see my girls." And you do not say no to Grandma Dorothy. At first, the reunion was normal. Burgers on the grill, kids running through the yard. Relatives I had not seen in years hugging me too tightly and asking questions they did not really want answered. Vanessa sat at the main table like a queen holding court, talking loudly about Tyler's honor roll and Madison's dance recital. Emma and I sat nearby. I could see my daughter getting quieter by the minute, folding into herself the way she does when a room feels too loud. Then Uncle Jerry turned to Emma with a kind smile. "So, Emma, how's school going?" It was harmless. Sweet, even. Emma started to smile. She opened her mouth, probably ready to tell him about the science project she had been working on for weeks. Then Vanessa cut through the air like a knife. "She's mentally retarded," Vanessa said, rolling her eyes. "Always has been." Everything stopped. I felt the words hit Emma before I fully processed them myself. Her shoulders caved inward. Her cheeks went bright red. Her eyes filled with tears she fought desperately not to drop. My incredible child, my soft-hearted genius, was being humiliated by her own aunt in front of 40 relatives. I gripped my fork so hard my knuckles turned white. I was about to stand, and I still do not know what I would have said when Grandma Dorothy spoke. "Behind?" she asked calmly. "Behind compared to whom?" Vanessa turned toward her with that smug little smile. "Behind normal kids, obviously." Grandma Dorothy was 78, sharp as a tack, and had spent 40 years as a real estate lawyer. She did not raise her voice because she never needed to. She set her glass down with terrifying precision and looked directly at Vanessa. "Because Emma is 2 years ahead in school," Grandma said, "and the only grandchild I have placed in my grandchildren's trust." The silence was instant and brutal. Vanessa's face went pale. "What?" "You heard me," Grandma said. "I updated my estate planning. Emma is the sole beneficiary of that trust." Vanessa stood so fast her chair nearly fell. "That's not fair. I have 2 kids." "More deserving based on what criteria?" Grandma asked. "Kindness? because their mother just used a slur against their cousin at a family gathering. Vanessa grabbed her purse, accused me of poisoning Grandma against her, and stormed out with Mark and the kids trailing behind her in humiliation. Later, after everyone left, Grandma pulled me onto the porch and squeezed my hand. "Document everything from now on," she said. "Texts, calls, comments, all of it." "Why?" I whispered. Grandma's face was calm, but her eyes were not. "Because Vanessa does not forgive easily. Today was her losing her temper. What comes next will be calculated." After that disaster of a reunion, I wanted to believe the worst had already happened. I told myself Vanessa had embarrassed herself badly enough that she would go home, cool off, maybe blame the heat or the crowd or the shock of Grandma's announcement. I was still trying to believe there was a limit to how low my sister would go. That belief lasted until 2:00 a.m. My phone buzzed on my nightstand, dragging me out of a sleep that had barely been sleep at all. I reached for it, half blind, and saw Vanessa's name glowing on the screen. The message was long, ugly, and shaking with rage even through text. "You manipulative snake, you've always been jealous of me, and now you're using your weird little kid to steal from mine. This isn't over." I sat up in bed, my heart hammering. For a moment, all I could do was stare at the words. Weird little kid. She could hate me all she wanted. She could rewrite our childhood, accuse me of poisoning Grandma, call me every name she had stored up since we were teenagers. But Emma? Emma had done nothing except sit at a table and try not to cry. I remembered Grandma's warning and took a screenshot. Then I muted Vanessa's number and lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling until morning. By sunrise, there were 6 more messages, each one worse than the last. She called me greedy, unstable, pathetic. She said Emma was probably pretending to be smart for attention. She said Grandma was senile, and I was exploiting her. I saved everything, every word, every accusation, every little piece of poison Vanessa decided to leave behind. Then my mother called. "Esmeralda, honey," she began, and I knew from her tone exactly where this was going. "Don't you think you should talk to your sister?" I closed my eyes. "She called my daughter a slur in front of the entire family." "Well, yes, but you know how Vanessa gets when she's upset. Is there a kind version of what she said, Mom?" There was silence, then a sigh. "I'm just saying, maybe you could talk to your grandmother. Vanessa's children deserve something too." And there it was. Not concern for Emma. Not outrage over what had happened. Just the same old family reflex. Vanessa breaks something and everyone else is expected to soften the landing. Over the next week, Vanessa worked the family like a campaign manager. Aunt Carol called to check in, which really meant asking if I had somehow influenced Grandma. Uncle Jerry stopped answering my texts. Cousins who had liked my photos for years suddenly went quiet. It was subtle at first, then obvious. Vanessa was telling everyone I had manipulated an elderly woman and used Emma as a weapon. The worst part was that Emma noticed. One night at dinner, she pushed food around her plate and asked, "Mom, why doesn't Aunt Vanessa like me?" I felt something inside me crack. "It's not about you, baby. It's adult stuff." "Is it because of what Grandma said about the will?" she asked quietly. I froze. I had not realized she understood that part. Then she added, "Tyler and Madison haven't messaged me all week. We usually play online together. Vanessa was not just attacking me. She was letting her children pull away from Emma too, and whether she had ordered it or only poisoned the air enough to make it happen, the result was the same. My daughter was being punished for being defended." I texted Grandma that night. "It's getting bad." She called within a minute. "Come over tomorrow, bring Emma." The next afternoon, Emma made herself a snack in Grandma's kitchen while I sat in the living room with Dorothy. The house smelled like lemon polish and old books, steady and safe in a way my own family no longer felt. "I need to tell you why I changed the will," Grandma said. "The real reason." My pulse quickened. "I'm listening." 6 months ago, I ran into Vanessa at the grocery store. She didn't see me. I was in the next aisle, but I heard her on the phone talking about Emma. My stomach dropped. Grandma's face hardened. She said, Esmeralda's kid is so weird. Thank God my kids are normal. I don't know how she stands having a daughter like that. I covered my mouth. She said that? There was more. She said Emma would probably fail in the real world because she was too sensitive. That was when I realized this wasn't competition anymore. It was cruelty toward a child. Grandma squeezed my hand. She said she had started watching after that. How Vanessa ignored Emma's achievements, dismissed her kindness, changed the subject whenever Emma shone too brightly. The trust was not punishment, Grandma said. It was protection. I wanted Emma to know someone saw her. 2 weeks later, Vanessa escalated exactly like Grandma predicted. Emma's school called. Someone had reported concerns about her home environment. Neglect. Emotional instability. Poor supervision. I answered every humiliating question while trying not to shake. The counselor was kind, even apologetic, and said Emma was one of their best students. But the damage had been done. I sent Grandma the call log with one word. Her. Grandma replied, "Save everything. Sunday is coming." That evening, Mom texted, "Family dinner at my house Sunday. Everyone will be there. Grandma insists you and Emma come." I stared at the message for a long time, already feeling the storm gathering. Whatever Grandma had been building, it was about to break open. Sunday came faster than I wanted it to. All morning, I moved through the house with that strange, nervous energy people get before walking into a room where they know something is waiting for them. I changed clothes 3 times, then felt ridiculous because it was only a family dinner. But deep down, I knew this was not dinner. This was Grandma Dorothy setting a table for the truth. Emma was quiet in the car. She had a book open on her lap, but she had not turned a page in 10 minutes. Finally, she looked out the window and asked, "Do I have to go?" I wanted to say no. I wanted to take her home, make grilled cheese, and let the family destroy itself without us. But Grandma had asked us to be there, and Grandma did not ask for things lightly. "She really wants us there," I said gently, "and I'll be right beside you the whole time." When we pulled up to my mother's house, the driveway was packed. Vanessa's car was there, Mark's SUV, Uncle Jerry's truck, Aunt Carol's sedan, cousins I had not seen since the reunion. Everyone. Emma noticed too. "Why is everyone here?" she whispered. "Good question," I said, though my stomach already knew the answer. Inside, the living room felt too warm and too quiet. Vanessa sat on the couch beside Mark, arms crossed, chin lifted, wearing the expression of someone who believed an apology was coming her way. Tyler and Madison sat near the window, both looking uncomfortable. My mother arranged cookies on a plate with trembling hands. Grandma Dorothy sat in the armchair by the window, calm as ever, a folder resting beside her like a sleeping weapon. I found 2 chairs near the back and pulled Emma close. Grandma stood, and the room went still. "Thank you all for coming," she said. "I know this is unusual, but there are things this family needs to address." Vanessa gave a sharp little laugh. "You mean how Esmeralda manipulated you into cutting my kids out of your will?" "I have not cut anyone out," Grandma said calmly. "I allocated my estate according to my wishes." "Based on lies?" Grandma's eyes hardened. "No, based on 6 months of observation, and recent events have confirmed I was right." She opened the folder. My heart started pounding. "For instance," Grandma continued, "the anonymous call made to Emma's school last week, falsely suggesting neglect in Esmeralda's home." The room went silent. Vanessa's face changed before she could stop it. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said. "Really?" Grandma asked. "Because the school has caller ID, and the principal, who happens to be an old colleague of mine, provided the number." Vanessa swallowed. "Would you like me to read your cell number out loud?" No one moved. My mother whispered, "Vanessa." But Grandma was not finished. "That is not even the most troubling part," she said, pulling out another paper. "5 years ago, when your grandfather passed, he left college funds for all his great-grandchildren, equal amounts. Tyler turned 16 last year, old enough to begin planning access to his fund, but the account is empty." Tyler sat up. "What?" Grandma looked directly at Vanessa. The money was withdrawn last October and deposited into an account under your name. The room erupted. Uncle Jerry stood. Aunt Carol gasped. Mark turned to Vanessa like he had never seen her before. That was for college, Tyler said, his voice cracking. Vanessa's mouth opened. Tyler, honey, I can't explain. Can you explain why your son was told he needed scholarships because you couldn't afford tuition? Grandma asked. Can you explain why the money appears to have gone toward that Lexus in the driveway? Madison started crying. Mark stood slowly, his face pale with shock. Vanessa looked around the room, not sorry yet, just trapped. You did this, she screamed at Grandma. You turned everyone against me. No, Grandma said quietly. You did this to yourself. Then Emma stood. Her hand was shaking in mine, but her voice was small and clear. I don't want the money if it makes everyone hate each other. Everyone turned toward her. I didn't ask for any of this, Emma said, tears slipping down her face. I just wanted to answer Uncle Jerry's question about school, and then Aunt Vanessa got mad, and Tyler and Madison stopped talking to me, and I don't understand why. Tyler crossed the room first. He knelt in front of her. Emma, I'm sorry. None of this is your fault. Then he looked back at his mother. It's hers. He walked out. Madison followed, crying. Mark looked at Vanessa with a coldness that made even me flinch. We'll talk at home, he said. Then he followed his children, leaving Vanessa alone under every stare she had earned. She grabbed her purse and ran. After the door slammed, Grandma sat down heavily, suddenly looking all of her 78 years. I'm sorry, she said, but it needed to be said. My mother was crying. She's still my daughter. I know, Grandma said. That is why I will give her one chance to make it right. Only one. For 3 days after that dinner, nothing happened. No texts from Vanessa, no screaming voicemails, no dramatic social media posts about betrayal or toxic families. Just silence. And somehow, that silence made me more nervous than the chaos. Vanessa did not usually go quiet because she was reflecting. She went quiet when she was sharpening something. Tuesday night, I called Grandma Dorothy. Maybe she's actually thinking about what happened, I said, though even I could hear the hope in my voice. Maybe, Grandma replied, but she sounded unconvinced. Or maybe she is planning something. Keep your guard up, Esmeralda. I should have listened harder. Wednesday afternoon, I was at work when my phone rang from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Is this Esmeralda Davis? A woman asked. Yes. Who is this? This is Detective Sarah Chin with the Michigan State Police. I need to ask you some questions regarding your grandmother, Dorothy Harper. My blood went cold. Is she okay? She is safe, ma'am. We received a report that she may be experiencing cognitive decline and possible financial exploitation. The caller expressed concern that you may be influencing her estate planning. For a second, I could not speak. Then, to my own shock, I laughed. It came out sharp and humorless. Let me guess. My sister Vanessa filed that report. I can't disclose the reporting party, Detective Chin said professionally, but I do need to follow up. Allegations of elder abuse are taken seriously. Elder abuse. Vanessa had called the police and accused me of exploiting my own grandmother because Grandma refused to let cruelty go unanswered. I gripped the edge of my desk so hard my fingertips hurt. My grandmother is a retired lawyer, I said. She had a cognitive evaluation done last month for estate planning. She is completely sound. I understand this is upsetting, the detective said, not unkindly. I still need to conduct a wellness check. I gave her Grandma's information, then immediately called Dorothy. For the first time since this started, she sounded genuinely angry. She did what? She reported us for elder abuse. There was a pause. Then Grandma's voice went calm in a way that scared me more than yelling. Let her. I have nothing to hide. In fact, she may have just given me exactly what I need. 2 hours later, Detective Chin called back. Miss Davis, I completed the wellness check. Your grandmother is clearly of sound mind, and there is no evidence of exploitation. I am closing the case. Relief flooded through me so fast I had to sit down. Then she added, Your grandmother has requested documentation related to the report. That is within her rights. Of course she had. Grandma was not just defending herself. She was building the record Vanessa kept volunteering to fill. That evening, Tyler called me. His voice was shaky in a way I had never heard before. Aunt Esmeralda, can I talk to you? Of course, honey. What's wrong? It's Mom. She's been crying for 2 days, saying everyone betrayed her. Dad barely talks to her. Madison won't come out of her room. And today she started packing boxes. She said she's going to stay with a friend in Ohio. My heart sank. She's leaving? Maybe, but I found something. She was looking up lawyers. We'll contest lawyers. Of course. If Vanessa could not win through guilt, humiliation, or false reports, she would try court. I called Grandma immediately. She was quiet for a long moment after I told her. Then it is time, she said. A smaller meeting. You, Emma, Vanessa, and me. I said I would give her one chance. Do you think she'll take it? No, Grandma said softly. But she is still my granddaughter. I have to offer the door before I close it. The meeting was Friday evening at Grandma's house. Vanessa was already there when Emma and I arrived, sitting stiffly on the couch, eyes red, face pale, pride wrapped around her like armor. Emma stayed close to my side. Grandma sat in her armchair, hands folded in her lap. Thank you for coming, Grandma said. I'm only here because you said it was important, Vanessa replied coldly, though her voice cracked. It is. I want to give you a choice. You can continue fighting, contest the will, file reports, destroy what is left of this family, or you can get help. Real help. I spoke with Dr. Patterson, a therapist who specializes in family dynamics. I will pay for your sessions. Vanessa's face twisted. You think I'm crazy. I think you are hurting, Grandma said, and instead of dealing with that hurt, you have been turning it into cruelty. For 1 second, Vanessa's expression broke, then she hardened again. I'm defending myself. You called a child a slur, Grandma said. You stole from your son. You filed a false police report. Vanessa, what would you call that? Vanessa looked at me, tears gathering. You never had to be perfect. Everyone accepted you. I had to earn everything. That may be how it felt, I said quietly. But punishing Emma won't heal that. The silence stretched. Vanessa grabbed her purse and stood. I thought she was leaving. Then her hand froze on the doorknob. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm sorry I said those things about Emma. I'm sorry about Tyler's money. I'm just sorry. Then she walked out. Emma looked up at me. Is Aunt Vanessa going to be okay? I held her hand tighter. I don't know, baby. And for once, that was the most honest answer I had. 2 weeks passed after that meeting, and I heard nothing from Vanessa. No apology, no attack, no dramatic message from a cousin saying she had been crying about betrayal. Just silence again. This time, though, the silence felt different. Less like a weapon being sharpened and more like someone sitting in a dark room, finally realizing they had locked themselves inside. I did not trust it completely, but I wanted to. Maybe that was foolish. Maybe it was human. Then, on a Tuesday morning, my phone rang. Vanessa's name appeared on the screen, and my whole body went tense. Emma was at school. I was alone in the kitchen, holding a mug of coffee that had already gone cold. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something made me answer. Esmeralda, Vanessa said. Her voice was different, smaller. Not performative, not sharp, not coded in accusation, just tired. I'm listening, I said carefully. I'm back from Ohio, she said, and I started seeing Dr. Patterson, the therapist Grandma recommended. I sat down slowly. You did? 3 sessions already. She let out a shaky breath. I didn't want to. I went because I wanted to prove all of you were wrong about me. But she made me look at things I have spent years avoiding. I did not know what to say, so I stayed quiet. Vanessa continued. I called Tyler's college fund manager. I'm putting the money back. All of it. I have to sell the Lexus, and Mark is furious, but I'm doing it. I also called Emma's school and told them I made that report out of spite. I called Detective Chin too. I apologized for wasting her time. I gripped the mug with both hands. Part of me wanted to believe her immediately. Another part of me, the part that had watched my daughter shrink at a family table, stayed guarded. Why now? I asked. Vanessa's voice cracked, because I finally heard myself say it out loud. That I hated a child because she reminded me of everything I thought I failed to be. Smart without trying to win. Gentle without being weak. Loved without performing for it. She paused. I have been competing with you since we were kids, and I punished Emma for a race she never entered. My throat tightened. I want to apologize to her, Vanessa said. In person. Only if she wants that. I know I don't deserve it. You don't, I said quietly, but I'll talk to her. That evening, Emma sat cross-legged on the couch, with a book open in her lap while I told her Vanessa had called. I chose every word carefully. I told her Vanessa was in therapy, that she had admitted what she did was cruel, that she wanted to apologize. Emma looked up at me with those old, thoughtful eyes. No child should have to grow so early. Does that mean she doesn't think I'm what she called me? She never should have said that, I told her. It was wrong. It was cruel, and none of it was true. Emma was quiet for a long moment. I can see her if Grandma is there. Smart girl. That Saturday, we gathered at Grandma Dorothy's house. Not everyone, just the people who mattered most for that moment. Grandma, me, Emma, Vanessa, Mark, Tyler, and Madison. Vanessa looked different when she walked in. No expensive blazer, no perfect makeup, no armor. Jeans, a simple sweater, red eyes, hands twisting together. When she saw Emma, she knelt down instead of towering over her. Emma, she said, voice trembling, I owe you the biggest apology. What I said was horrible and untrue. You are brilliant, kind, and more gracious than most adults I know. I was jealous and unhappy with myself, and I took it out on you. That was unforgivable. Emma studied her. Why were you jealous of me? Vanessa gave a sad little smile. Because you are everything. I wish I had been brave enough to be at your age. Emma tilted her head. You can still be brave now. Vanessa started crying then, not loudly, not for attention, just breaking open. Tyler stepped closer. Madison too. Mark stayed behind her with one hand on her shoulder, not fully healed, not fully trusting, but still there. Later, Grandma called everyone into the living room. I revised my will again, she said. Vanessa went pale, but Grandma held up a hand. Tyler and Madison are back in the grandchildren's trust equally with Emma. They should not be punished for their mother's mistakes. Vanessa covered her mouth. Thank you. There are conditions, Grandma said. Therapy for at least 1 year, full repayment of Tyler's fund, real amends, and every child in this family is treated with love and respect. I promise, Vanessa whispered. 3 months have passed since then. Vanessa is still in therapy. She sold the Lexus. Tyler's fund is being restored. Mark and Vanessa are trying. Carefully, honestly, painfully. Emma is thriving. Last week we had another family reunion, a quiet redo of the disaster that started everything. When Uncle Jerry asked Emma about school, Vanessa smiled and said, She's incredible, 2 grades ahead, reading college textbooks, and we are all proud of her. Emma beamed. Our family is not perfect. Some wounds do not vanish just because someone says sorry. But something changed. Cruelty was named. Boundaries were drawn. And for the first time, my daughter sat at a family table without shrinking. Sometimes healing begins with one person refusing to pretend cruelty is normal. For us, that person was Grandma Dorothy.